What up, though, everybody? It's your boy, BallerSteph, Steph Baller A. Welcome to my first episode of Breaking Down the NBA. And on this episode, we are going to be talking about Isaiah Thomas in Cleveland. As you know, the Boston Celtics recently traded Isaiah Thomas along with Jay Crowder over to Cleveland in a trade for Kyrie Irving. This trade was, of course, as we all know, demanded by Kyrie Irving and his unwillingness or his desire to not any longer play alongside LeBron James. But, of course, as you know, Isaiah Thomas is coming to Cleveland injured and will not play until January or after the All-Star break. Now, Isaiah Thomas has been recently quoted as saying, "I will be back soon and scoring 30 points per game again." Yeet! On what team, bro? Of course, we know Isaiah Thomas is very capable of scoring 30 points a game like he did last season. But that was on a Boston team where how many more offensive threats were they? There were no other players on that Boston team who was just like totally purely capable of creating their own offense. That whole team ran through Isaiah Thomas. The whole offense ran through Isaiah Thomas. It fed off of his dominant scoring ability. But in Cleveland, you have LeBron James, you have Dwayne Wade, you have D Rose, you have J.R. Smith, you have Jay Crowder, you have so many other players who can score. Iman Shumpert, so many Kevin Love, so many other players who are going to be scoring regularly. So you tell me in the comments, how many points do you think Isaiah Thomas is really about to score per game? Is it going to be the 30 points per game as he claims that he's going to be scoring? I don't think Isaiah Thomas has quite woken up yet to reality of him being traded from Boston to Cleveland. I think he's still in his dreamlike state. He's like, okay, I'm going to bounce back. I'm going to score my 30 points per game. Woo, 30 points. Oh, the left hand, he a lefty. 30 points a game is coming. He wakes up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat and be like, I'm coming back better than ever. The thing about it is, Isaiah Thomas is going from being the number one option to possibly being the third option on a team. When you're the number one option, you can score 30 points per game. But when you're the third option, I'm sorry, brother, you're probably looking around about between 15 and 17 points per game. And if you look at the Cleveland roster, I'm thinking between 15 and 17 points per game is much more realistic than Isaiah Thomas's 30 points per game as he scored last season. Now, this all leads to some big questions like, how is this going to work? Is Isaiah Thomas going to be happy in Cleveland? Is Cleveland going to be happy with Isaiah Thomas? Now, I think in the long run that this is not going to work. I don't think Isaiah Thomas is going to work in Cleveland because he has too much of a chip on his shoulders. In his mind, he's a superstar player. Just like Kyrie, in his mind, he's a superstar player. I think Isaiah Thomas is not going to be happy playing alongside LeBron James with so many other stars on the team that he has to share with. Because if he has to share with them like that, he's not going to be getting his 30 points per game. He's not going to get those numbers that he's been used to getting. And while I do think Isaiah Thomas is a great point guard, he's not a pure-minded point guard, meaning, oh, I'm just going to go out here and set people up, pass, assist, and so forth. He's a scoring first point guard. Isaiah Thomas wants to be that guy. And that's why it's not going to work in Cleveland. Because he's going to find that he's not going to score more than 15 to 17 points per game because the team is loaded. So, and he's not the number one guy. LeBron is going to, any team LeBron James is on, he is the number one guy, period. So, I don't think it's going to work out in Cleveland. Isaiah Thomas is only going to score between 15 to 17 points a game when healthy, because that's all LeBron is going to allow. That's all the Cavaliers are going to allow. There's too many people on that team for him to eat like that, 30 points per game. So, it's not going to work out in Cleveland. He's not going to get the numbers that he wants to get. But what I hope ultimately for Isaiah Thomas is that, he can end up in a situation where he has his own team again. So maybe after this contract ordeal works out, after this season is over, something can be worked out with another team who needs a great leader and point guard, a dominant scorer, like Isaiah Thomas, to where he can go and be the man again. Thank you everybody for watching this episode of Breaking Down the NBA with me. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. There is much more to come. Thank you for joining me.